Hello, I'm Ania Lichtarowicz and this is Somewhere on Earth. I'm in London. It's Tuesday the 3rd of March 2026. Welcome to the Global Tech Podcast. Coming up today. This week on Somewhere on Earth, we're looking at the hidden costs of our digital lives. First, artificial intelligence. The tools reshaping how we work and communicate are powered by vast networks of servers. Machines that require huge amounts of electricity, cooling, and eventually disposal. We've reported before on the energy they are really using and how much water is consumed to keep them going. Now we turn to e-waste, specifically to the hardware when it's no longer fit for purpose. I spoke to Alex de Vries Gouwel, the Digiconomist, about his latest research on the mounting question of AI-driven e-waste. Then, from planetary impact to personal harm, cyberbullying. More than a third of young people globally say they've experienced online bullying, according to UNICEF. A Serbian startup, CyberParent, believes it has a solution. An AI-powered app designed to detect abusive behaviour on a child's phone and alert parents in real time. I spoke to founder Nemanja Stojmenovic at Web Summit Qatar about whether technology can help tackle one of the internet's most persistent problems. Two stories, one digital world, and the real-world consequences behind it. This is Somewhere on Earth, the Global Tech Podcast, where global technology meets real life. AI may feel invisible, living in the cloud, powering our searches and chatbots, but its environmental footprint is anything but. As artificial intelligence scales at speed, so does the physical infrastructure behind it. Vast data centres packed with specialised servers that consume enormous amounts of electricity and water and eventually become electronic waste. My guest this week, Alex de Vries Gouwel, the Digiconomist, says one of the biggest problems is transparency. Tech giants talk extensively about AI in their sustainability reports, but rarely break out the specific numbers for AI's energy use, water consumption, or hardware disposal. That makes it difficult to measure the true environmental cost. Now, we've spoken to Alex before about energy and water consumption, so please look up those episodes in our back catalogue if you've not heard them already. Now, Alex has been studying the problem of AI-created e-waste. Globally, less than a quarter of e-waste is recycled, meaning much of this hardware could ultimately end up in vulnerable communities. Alex has just published his latest research in the journal Resources, Conservation and Recycling.
The thing is, with any digital application, it still needs to be provided by a machine somewhere in the world. And the thing with AI is that and when we're using apps like, for example, ChatGPT, there is a whole lot of equipment in the background that's running to ultimately facilitate this application. Actually, due to applications like this, large language model, generative AI, potentially half of the data center landscape, or at least the power demand of data centers, could already be due to AI equipment, specifically AI servers. Ultimately, after a few years, that equipment is going to get disposed, and then it becomes electronic waste, and that's what I've been looking into now. I've been trying to quantify exactly how much electronic waste is going to be caused as a result of ultimately AI servers being disposed. And just to maybe continue to a specific number there.
No, I was going to say, what did you actually find? I mean, how much electronic waste will be produced? You've done estimates to 2030, haven't you?
Indeed. Yeah, the thing with electronic waste is, what I actually did is I quantified the AI server production in recent years, so 2023, 2024, 2025. But then, of course, it takes a couple of years to for these machines to actually become electronic waste. A typical server is used 5 to 6 years. At the moment, we don't really have a reason to deviate for AI servers. They might not last as long, but yeah, that needs to be researched more. So assuming that these machines last 5 years, then yeah, by the year 28, 2029, 2030, all of this production from the past few years is going to become e-waste. And the specific number that I put on it was that by 2030, AI servers could be responsible for 131 to 225 million kilograms of e-waste globally. Just to add a little bit of perspective.
I was going to say, please can you add some context? What does that mean?
What does that even mean? So this is as much as the entire electronic waste output as a country like Austria, for example. So it is significant, and when we're talking about electronic waste output, it's not just servers, it's anything that runs on electricity. So it's also phones, laptops, fridges, freezers, etc.
Am I right in thinking that this is less than previous estimates?
That's absolutely true. So there has been some research into this before. Actually, 1 year prior to my own research, there was another thing published in Nature, and that quantified that by 2030, the e-waste output of AI servers could be 4 to 20 times greater than the numbers that I found. So in that sense, my research is somewhat good news, that it's going to be less than previously anticipated. And the main reason for this difference is that I am accounting for production constraints. I'm really looking at like what is the most amount of AI servers that could have been produced in the AI server supply chain in the past few years, whereas the previous research, they just kind of try to make some scenarios for how much AI apps are going to be used in the future, and they try to figure out how much computational power are we going to need for that and how much servers are we going to need for that. But at no point did they consider the question whether it's even going to be possible to produce that many servers. So in that sense, adding this constraint really drops the potential e-waste output in the coming few years. That said, the amount that I have now quantified is still a lot of e-waste. As much as a country like Austria puts out in electronic waste in total, it's still substantial. It's less than what we previously anticipated, but I'd say this is definitely still a problem worth looking into.
For me, it kind of like seems kind of almost odd that it's less. It does seem odd that it's less, because I would have thought that as AI, as more and more people use it, as the LLM models become more sophisticated, we would need to replace the service more, surely, because we'd be using it more and they'd need more processing power. Or am I completely wrong on that assumption?
Well, AI servers could still become e-waste faster than we think, because the thing is, in prior research, a 3-year lifespan was assumed, but it was not really substantiated. And the thing is, if you look at tech companies, in general, they use their servers for 5 to 6 years. And actually, right now, that's the best reference we possibly have for how long AI servers may be potentially used. So I see, at the moment, I don't see any other way than to use that 5 to 6 year lifespan. That is pretty common for general servers, except the thing is that we don't really know yet how the AI hype of recent years has really affected the lifespan of this specific type of equipment. So it could still end up being used shorter than a typical server. Which would mean that these machines are going to become e-waste faster. But then still, the growth rates that were anticipated previously, they just weren't realistic. They were expecting that the e-waste output would double every year on year. So even if you change your time horizon a little bit, AI equipment becoming e-waste in 3 years rather than 6 years, then still the growth rate that was previously put on this was way too pessimistic, because the supply chain capacity is just not there to realize that. So even if we have to tweak these assumptions a little bit later on, it still wouldn't become as bad as previously anticipated.
And that's the key here, isn't it? You've done this research based on supply chain rather than demand. And that's why we're seeing these differences, you think? Indeed.
It's just really important to really factor in your supply chain constraints here. It's very weird that you say a certain amount of servers are going to be used if that amount of service cannot even be produced. So my advice to researchers in general is, like, when you're looking at this, yeah, it's okay to work on scenarios about potential future demand, but don't lose track on the supply side, because that really constrains your potential outcomes quite a bit.
So I have a question from a listener. There was a discussion on our Facebook group, actually, about AI, started by one of our listeners, Roger Rowe, and Jez Donaldson commented. And he said, I'd be interested to see some real data on the carbon footprint of the cloud these days, as I get the impression that many of the owners of such infrastructure are investing quite heavily to avoid having to plug it into mains power. I know I've kind of sprung that on you, but would you be able to comment on that and give Jez an answer?
Yeah, of course, because I actually quantified this in my previous research paper that was published in December. So when I was researching this, I quantified the potential amount of AI servers that have been produced in the past couple of years, and that actually gave me various opportunities to quantify further impacts. Because at one hand, yes, what I now did was quantify the potential electronic waste at the end of the line when all of these servers are done being used, but at the same time you can also quantify the impact during their operational lifetime as well, because we know how much power these servers are likely going to be consuming. And if you know that, you can also put a number on this in terms of potential carbon emissions, potential water consumption. And so that's what I did in the research paper that was published in December, and my findings there were that all of this AI equipment that's currently running could be responsible for as much carbon emissions as a city like New York. And just to add to that, while I'm at it, the water consumption related to all of this could exceed our total global bottled water consumption. And I think it's important to keep in mind here that all of these things, all of these consequences are ultimately the result of the same thing, which is the growing AI server infrastructure globally. So it's not isolated effects. It's actually a range of different impacts that should all be considered if we're talking about AI sustainability.
That was Alex de Vriesgouw speaking to me earlier, and you can hear more of what Alex is planning to research next in the Pod Extra version of the show. Please search pod.fan Somewhere on Earth podcasts. Go to the page and subscribe. For just $10 a month, you can get lots more soap. Now, cyberbullying is one of the most urgent threats facing children online today. According to UNICEF, more than 1 in 3 young people across 30 countries say they have experienced online bullying, and 1 in 5 say it has caused them to skip school. In the United States, research from the Cyberbullying Research Center shows roughly 30% of teens have experienced cyberbullying at some point. Many never tell their parents. That's the problem CyberParent is trying to tackle. I spoke to founder Nemanja Stojmenovic, who says the app uses AI to detect signs of cyberbullying in real time and alert parents, enabling early intervention before harm escalates. The startup showcased its solution at Web Summit Qatar as it looks to expand beyond its first market in Serbia.
Hi, I'm Nemanja from Serbia. I'm from a startup called CyberParent. Why we are doing CyberParent? Because every third child is a victim of cyberbullying in the world today. And what is even a bigger problem is that every third child who is a victim never tells anyone, not even their parents. CyberParent can detect cyberbullying on child's phone in real time and send parent alarm to parents, enabling them early intervention before any damage is done.
How much of a problem is cyberbullying for children?
It's one of the most urgent problems for children and parents. We spoke to parents as part of our customer discovery, and we found that children actually face threats, insults, violence every single day, and that those small everyday incidents must be recognized in time.
And how many children are affected?
It depends on the market, but statistics says that every third child is a victim of cybersecurity, and every 50% of children are involved in cybersecurity.
So,
Cyberbullying, sorry.
Cyberbullying. Okay, so tell me how this works. It's not parents looking at their children's phones, is it? It's a separate app that sits on the child's phone.
That's correct. It monitors all incoming and outgoing messages. Currently, it's working for Instagram, Viber, TikTok, WhatsApp, and SMS. And if we detect anything suspicious, we send alarm to parents.
And what do you mean by suspicious? I'm assuming it's AI, and that you pick up, keywords or phrases. How does this work?
Our competitors have keywords or phrases, so meaning they can detect only what is already known. We go a step further and we introduce key differentiator. It's a community power detection. What does it mean? Our AI system combines parents' report, cyberbullying methods among children in the same environment, and each child individual profile. With these three, our detections are customized for each child, parent in the specific environment.
So that makes it very personalized. I guess what could be seen as something not nice, but okay, I can get over it, for one child is going to have a much bigger impact on another. So how much can you profile each child and design it just for them?
We follow the profile of child, so it's different when you say you are ugly to 7 years old girl who is sensitive, or if you send that to a big 14 years old guy, you will get punched and there is no impact for him. So it's very important to have profile of child and to see the impact of cyberbullying that is happening today.
And where are you trialing this?
We tried in Serbia so far as our first market, but we are looking for investments so we can grow on other markets.
And what do you hope to get here at Web Summit?
Three things. We are always looking to hear investment deal. That's the first part. The second one is we look someone who can open the doors, some kind of partner that have connections, good network, or can be helpful for us. And third thing is we didn't have much info on how this market will react on our app. Is cyberbullying a big deal here? So we are speaking with colleagues here to see who are parents, to see if this app will be helpful for them.
So a parent gets an alarm to say their child has been cyberbullied. What then happens?
With alarms, we are sending some kind of advice. We created that with our psychologist. And based on child's profile, based on type of this cyberbullying method, we send them some kind of advice what parents can do about that. But we are assistants for parents, and we are enabling them to see what is actually happening, but real action is on them.
And are the children okay with this, having an app that's monitoring them?
It's on parents to explain them that it is for their good. It's on parents to be transparent or not. Mostly they don't like it, but the good thing is that we are sending only suspicious messages to parents, not all of them, just suspicious one. I was 13 years old and I was texting with my, some girl that I like, and I didn't do anything wrong, but I don't want my parents to see that. So I completely understand that. So we're just sending suspicious messages to parents, and that's also how we are different from our competitors.
Nemanja Stojmenovic, founder of CyberParent, speaking to me at Web Summit in Doha. And that is all for this week, folks. Just a quick reminder, we have all the shows on our YouTube channel, so please go and check us out there. Also, please can you give us a rating on your favourite podcasting platform? We've already seen a more prominent presence online in a number of platforms thanks to just a few more reviews. In fact, we had over 9,000 downloads in just one day. It really makes a difference and helps our downloads grow. And you can get in touch with us via hello@somewhereonearth.co or on our socials. The production manager is Liz Tuohy and I'm the editor. Until next week, bye-bye.